Have you ever seen something from the corner of your eye that wasn't there when you looked again? How about hearing from a friend of a friend that while they were hiking somewhere, they thought they saw something impossible, but when they spoke to a ranger, there was always a simple explanation that left you unsatisfied. My name is Jack, this is my colleague Chris, and we are senior wardens of the Creature Conservation Initiative. We protect the world from the creatures of superstition and myth, but more importantly, protect those same creatures from the world. Well, hello there everyone who's listening. I know there's so many of you, and I love you all. What a weird way to start. And okay, hello to my colleague here, Chris.
No.
Nope, this is how it's going.
Okay.
And this is my colleague Chris. He is here with me today. How are you doing?
Well, I'm mostly apathetic. I've been stuck in a time loop. I've done this episode about 473,000 times before, but I'm confident that today is the one where I finally break free. So, I'm optimistic.
I'm slightly worried why you want to break free from me.
I want to break free from a time loop.
Oh, the time loop. God, how many episodes have I missed then?
Well, one, but you've missed that one a lot of times.
Oh, I'm realizing what you mean by a time loop now. Guess what, audience? I'm not right.
Well, that's something for the editing table.
I doubt it.
Anyway.
So you're stuck in a time loop then? Great.
Oh yes, yes, totally. I'm not making up nonsense for the intro. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. A little bit tired. I've been running around a lot recently, doing a lot of manual work. But that's kind of the nature of what we do, unfortunately. Why have they got? Don't tell me they've got you an assistant.
Oh, well, I wish. I wanted to say yes, but there's no way you'd believe me.
Well, I know they were talking about it for the others, but nothing for me over here.
No.
You're not responsible enough for assistance.
Yeah, they just wrote some vague statement involving Christmas and unions, so they declined.
Fair enough. Yeah. However, they're still happy to put us in charge of people, and that's the important thing.
Yes.
Those people just aren't allowed to help, that's all.
Exactly. We still have power.
We still have some kind of power. And isn't that how important everything is in life? Small amounts of petty power.
Yes. Pettiness runs the world.
Pettiness runs the world.
The only thing more important is to be producing something every second of your day and, of course, money. It's the only thing you can take with you when you die.
Yep, and that's why today we've got a creature that we're going to talk about.
Oh.
And you will have probably heard about this creature at some point in your lives. Even all the listeners, they would have definitely heard the name at some point. Although I am kind of curious to see if you have heard the name, but you will know of this creature when we get started.
If I say no, it's going to be embarrassing after that setup.
Well, it's got different names in different countries because this is actually a worldwide creature, which is quite interesting.
An elephant.
But I'm going to be talking about it from, obviously, the British kind of point of view because that's where I am.
That's British for you.
And, Great Britain, centre of the world. We drew the map. Anyway, today's creature that we're going to talk about is actually the Will-O-The-Wisp.
I've heard of that one before, actually. I'm not sure what it does, but...
Have they sent you out to go deal with them?
No, not at all.
I'm kind of not surprised. We don't really deal with these creatures, but we do encounter them. We do have to scare them off occasionally, but it's absolutely fascinating.
Is the little glowing things that float around? Or am I confusing something in my head?
No, you've got it right there. Will-O-The-Wisps essentially look like kind of floating lights in the environment, but we'll kind of get onto that in a little bit.
I've dealt with them directly, but I was involved in a cover-up situation once, and I had to convince the people of the town that it was just incredibly large fireflies, it didn't go very well.
Oh, that was your idea, was it?
It wasn't even my idea. At least I could stand behind that. Just had to repeat it, which was even worse.
Oh, that was a Friday afternoon idea, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? Rushing out the door.
Yeah.
Rushing out the door. Fireflies! Big fireflies!
Fucking Dave. Anyway,
Dave.
getting on with it.
These creatures have a lot of different names. So there is Will-O-The-Wisp.
Yeah.
There's Will-O-Wisp. You got my favourite one, which is the Latin name for them, which is Ignis Fatuus. I know, it's great. But also, because in Latin, apparently it stands for foolish flame, which is something I quite like.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Sounds like a band name.
There's Jack-O-Lanterns, there's Friar's Lantern, and then there's Hinky Punk.
I'm sorry, there's what?
The Hinky Punk.
You're making that up.
No, honestly, it's an old English kind of one, but it's definitely the Hinky Punk.
Sure it is. Yes.
These are just various names for the creature that we know as Will-O-The-Wisp. It's just got all these different names because they are prevalent around the world. You see them absolutely everywhere, and as a result, they have found their way into pretty much every single kind of area of folklore. Even in your wonderful country of Germany, there is something. They have a specific.
I'm looking forward to you pronouncing German words, so
Oh, I don't think you should be. Obviously, in terms of the myth, they are seen as, well, little balls of light that seem to dance in place, stay in place until you notice them, then they start to move.
Kind of like me.
You don't move.
That's true.
Sorry. They've kind of been described as ghost lights, which it's just kind of one of those things which is just a really, really good descriptor, because even if you've never seen one, you kind of get the idea what a ghost light would or should be, no matter your culture, no matter what you think. They just seem to be kind of ghostly apparitions that just appear. They always tend to appear over swamps, bogs, moors, marshes. Sometimes they're seen around cemeteries and graveyards. In general, they're just seen all over the place, and you might even find them in kind of like the outskirts of some forests and things like that. And like I say, they appear as like small, dancing, colourful lights. Sometimes they're different colours, but generally you see them as kind of like described as a candle flame kind of colour.
Yeah.
Kind of dances around just outside your vision. Would you say you've ever seen this yourself? As an agent, as a warden, not as a warden?
Well, I wasn't not in the context of a mission or a case or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen those before. Or maybe it was just very large fireflies, who knows?
You're going to push that narrative, aren't you?
Sure.
So if in your area you were told a while ago that there was just very large fireflies, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And you can blame it on Chris.
You can blame it on Dave.
God damn it, Dave. So, in most cultures, though, not all, but in most cultures, we tend to see the Will-O-The-Wisp as kind of a mischievous entity. Usually, it's doing something like leading you away, leading you off track, leading you deeper into, say, a dangerous area like the marshes, like bogs, like into the forest. It tends to be seen in that light where it's, you see it, you follow it, you go somewhere, and it leads you into some form of danger or some form of situation. Now,
isn't it also connected to gaslighting, the term? I think I've read where that comes from once.
Yes, there have been some kind of connections, but also, as we'll kind of go on to what the science and what our research guys, propagandist guys, have got out there,
Dave,
that will kind of link back into that kind of gas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As folklore has kind of evolved and gone on, obviously in years gone by, they've been attributed to ghosts, they've been attributed to fairies, they've been attributed to elemental spirits, but it's always about paths, leading, directions, and going from one place to another. They have been mostly vilified in most folklore. They tend to be, they lead someone off into danger. However, they have always, in pretty much all folklore, been set up as an entity that belongs or is in service to something else. So it's never that they are themselves. However, one thing I can tell you, these creatures, they do all of this stuff themselves. They are mischievous, but they can also be helpful, which leads me to my PSA of the episode. If you see Will-O-Wisp like lights anywhere in front of you, just don't follow it, because I can't guarantee that it's a good one or a bad one.
Great. Just gotta love it when you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of this kind of creature. But that's also why they're kind of connected to fairies. You know, fairies, you don't know what you're going to get.
Sure.
The creatures of fae and all that kind of stuff. It's difficult to predict how it's always going to end.
Definitely. On average, I prefer to avoid them. Saves you a lot of trouble.
But where the folklore and the truth kind of do link up is that they have a tendency to stay in one place, dancing, moving around, very static until someone pays attention to them. Then they will head off, lead that individual somewhere, whether that's good or bad, and then they will fade out of existence, fade away, disappear into trees, into marshes, just you won't be able to see them, and they're gone. They don't tend to be aggressive or damaging to us through like themselves, just generally their actions. However, there is one bit of folklore that we'll get onto in a little while in which they are quite aggressive.
Oh, good.
And but the main thing to understand about these creatures is, apart from this light, we don't know what they actually look. We've never caught them. We've never kind of interacted physically directly with them. We just see the lights. Yeah. So for all we know, they are literally little fairy-like things bouncing around. But we just work on the idea that they are lights.
Could be.
Or at least as a being, they are lights.
Yeah.
It's probably a better way to put it.
That's good. That's going to help with the disappearing.
And obviously the scientific claims that followed Will-O-The-Wisps are that they are essentially a bioluminescence or a chemiluminescence produced by organic decay of various things, especially gases and gases.
Yeah. Listen closely, Dave.
Yeah, listen closely, please, Dave.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll take this as an opportunity. The one thing I can tell you, they are bigger than fireflies.
They sure are.
No one is believing that they are fireflies. Dave has a way in which when you have to do Dave's bidding, I swear it puts your career back by at least 6 months.
At least. But you know, after the incident, I can't blame him.
I mean, he was never the same.
Yeah. We're not gonna mention what it is. Moving on.
All those squirrels.
Don't remind me.
So, in general, a lot of folklore, especially like the English kind of or the British type of folklore, they tend to link them towards the dead or the death of someone or anything like that. So usually they'll talk about like there's a Jack or a Will, Jack-o'-lantern.
That's a Jack, you say?
That loses their way and is doomed to haunt whatever land they are with a small light, almost like a candle, in penance of some kind of misdeed that's happened to them. There are various stories that go around the world, but just to kind of finish off in kind of Europe kind of area, a lot of the time though, especially when it was the rise of the church, unbaptized babies.
Of course.
That was where they went straight away. Immediately, they're the souls of unbaptized babies.
If I had a penny for everything that unbaptized babies can allegedly end up as.
Of course there's so many dead unbaptized babies. There's so many creatures for them to turn into. How would we have a viable population? And I'm going to be interested to see how the reaction to that sentence is going to be. Oh, dear Lord.
Well, let's not talk about the Catholic baby killing dungeons.
But like I've said already, they just appear in various countries around the world. So like I said, in Europe, a lot of it has been attributed to the unbaptized babies. In France, they are known as the faux fillet.
I'm sorry? A fillet?
The faux fillet. Or fillet.
Okay. Sounds tasty.
I'm not French, I'm English. Apparently we hate them. I mean, I quite like the French, but apparently we hate them. I can't say the words properly. But yeah, the faux fillet. So the belief around them is that it's actually a soul that has been sent back to Earth to do God's penance. However, they have refused to do God's penance, and they actually attack or interact and lead and injure people as some kind of vengeful spirit instead.
Okay.
However, they can even move up to the point of apparently sucking children's blood.
What? Wait, but that's Vampire's job.
Apparently, so it's also Will-O-The-Wisp's job.
But if they're just light, how do they even do the sucking? I have questions about this.
I have absolutely no idea, but apparently this is the most aggressive they go, and apparently in France they are really aggressive, which is why I'm glad I've never had to go deal with Will-O-The-Wisp in France.
I mean, to be fair, France is an aggressive country.
France is... seems a little bit like a bad idea for a German to be saying that.
Well, someone has to out-aggressive them. It's not going to be Poland.
Oh my God. Well, on the subject of Germany, here's your favourite part. In Germany, they are known as the Irrlich.
No, they're not. Irrlicht. Licht.
Licht.
Well, almost. Sounds a little bit like you're having saliva problems, but yeah, I've heard that before actually. So that makes a lot of sense. So Licht is light, and Ir is well, it's part of a word more or less. But basically, lights that lead you astray is a free translation, maybe.
Yeah, and again, this is very much. Again, the unbaptized babies part. However, apparently, the way in which you can redeem these individuals, these unbaptized children, is that if the remains are first buried near the eaves of the church, so that the moment rainwater splashes onto this grave, the churchman could pronounce the baptismal formula to sanctify the child.
What?
If your unbaptized child becomes an Irrlich, you can baptize them posthumously.
Okay, you can baptize them posthumously, but apparently only through rain, not just by using water.
Only in Germany.
Well, that's Germans for you. There's always some bureaucracy involved.
In Sweden, again, represents unbaptized people. However, these are supposed to be there trying to lead travellers to water in the hopes of being baptized, rather than them actually able to be baptized. So it seems to be like it's almost supposed to be like an echo.
Well, they better hope it rains then.
I know, there just happens to be a priest walking by.
Yeah.
When it comes to Denmark, Finland, in some parts of Sweden, in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Ireland, Will-O-The-Wisps are actually leading you to gold or treasure of some kind.
Ooh.
That you should go hunting them at certain times of the year, specifically to, well, find the treasure, apparently.
Okay. So does that actually work out? Do we advise all listeners to follow Will-O-The-Wisps to find treasure?
No, we've not found them leading us to treasure at any point, or at least not what we would probably class as like monetary treasure. But, you know, maybe it's that kind of like abstract concept of treasure that exists, you know.
The real Irrlicht is the friends we made along the way.
that's kind of like how Europe sees them in a way. But I haven't gone through every single kind of bit of folklore because, like I say, every single country has a version of this. I know, I'm just awful.
Yes.
But we only have half an hour.
Yeah.
And
Of which
Will-O
25 minutes have passed.
That's 25 minutes of recording.
Yes.
Understand, dear listener, we will edit this.
You've destroyed the illusion.
But I've chosen some of my kind of like favourite ones that I've found over the years. So Brazil have what they call the boitata, or the boitata,
I'm sorry.
or whatever.
It's probably not funny.
It's probably not right.
Yeah, definitely not.
But apparently this means fiery serpent, and the reason why I've chosen this little story is because I just love the story that's linked to it.
All right.
It is the fiery eyes of a massive cave anaconda.
Ooh, that's cool.
That survived a big, like, great deluge that kind of flooded the land and killed people and cattle and various things like that.
So the idea is that it's a ghostly snake and you can only see the eyes.
Yeah, so
That's terrifying.
yeah, apparently this is where the kind of size comparison gets a little bit strange, and why again they're not large fireflies because in Brazil they are massive. They are very big, and we've kind of wondered why they're quite big. Because over in pretty much in Europe, I mean, I wouldn't class them as like small, but I certainly wouldn't go, oh, that's a big creature. You know, I'd probably put it down at like smaller than a chihuahua, that kind of thing. But in Brazil, it sounds like they're about the same size as a chihuahua. But essentially, the story goes that this cave anaconda, after the deluge, came out and just started feasting through the fields, preying on any animals and corpses. However, it only ate its favourite morsel, the eyes, and all the light that was in these eyes collected within it, hence fiery serpent eyes.
Ooh.
And you only see its eyes when it's moving around. So obviously in Brazil, these guys are very much seen as very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, rightly so. I'm trying to imagine ways in which a snake would even, instead of swallowing you whole, just eat the eyes, and none of the ways I can think of are very pleasant.
Yeah, probably not worth thinking about.
Yeah.
If we're being perfectly honest.
Probably worth dreaming about in my nightmares tonight.
Well, I'm glad I'm in your nightmares.
Always.
My other kind of favourite, kind of interesting one is in Colombia. They are known as kind of La Bola de Fuego.
Sure they are.
Or the Candelea.
100% correct.
Perfect pronunciation, thank you very much.
Yes.
Absolutely 100% guaranteed to be wrong. Perfect pronunciation.
And that's our promise here at Blink and Your Myth.
But in Colombia, essentially, it is the ghost of a grandmother who raised her grandchildren without morals, and as such, they became thieves and murderers. In the afterlife, the grandmother's spirit was condemned to wander the world surrounded in flames. And then in some countries, like Mexico, they are apparently witches who transform into these lights.
On purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
As in, this is just something that the witches do. They don't really have anything else to say about it. They don't really describe them as doing anything else other than that. Apart from, they also in Mexico believe that some of them are luces del dinero, which is money lights.
What does that mean? Do they steal your money?
They think they will lead you to treasure.
Oh, okay. That way around. Oh. Also, can I say the grandmothers in this scenario before that, they kind of get a bad rap? I mean, I would put it to the parents first to raise their children with morals and not immediately set the grandmother aflame, but, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, but hey, it's folklore.
Yeah.
But in pretty much everywhere else, pretty much every other country, or at least majority of them, they tend to be seen as guys. They tend to be seen as, they take you along a path like we discussed earlier. However, again, not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. it kind of depends on the individual Will-O-The-Wisp that you come across, is where it pretty much hits. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, any kind of questions about them? Seeing as they are quite crazy creatures.
Well, I'm still wondering if it's worth trying to maybe get treasure, but other than that...
Well, you know, if you're bored one evening, especially with Halloween coming up, go for it. I'm sure no other creatures will get in the way about that.
Yeah, sure. Can only work out great, I'm sure.
Well, there's a reason why I say no other creatures and kind of bring that up, is because the way in which I've interacted with Will-O-The-Wisp, is I wasn't even hunting them. Oh my god. That hurt. That hurt. Like physical pain.
I've been thinking about this one from the start, but there was never an opportunity to bring it in. I had to get it out of my system. Anyway, yes, you encountered Will-I-Am.
Oh, no, I'm very glad to say I've never encountered Will-I-Am. But the Will-O-The-Wisps, yeah, I wasn't actually even dealing with Will-O-The-Wisps. I wasn't being sent anywhere to handle them or anything like that.
Oh.
I was actually out handling some imps, of all things.
Imps, of course. Yeah. That's basically just everyday routine.
Yeah, it was just a routine job where I was just dealing with some imps, in which case I was incredibly bored. They'd set up in the moorlands in kind of the south of the UK, which was just... It's absolutely awful to deal with at night. You've got certain pathways that you've got to walk, otherwise the ground just basically crumbles underneath you. I've ridden through it quite a few times on horseback, and it's absolutely different. It's so annoying to do.
Absolutely.
And while I was just kind of cleaning up the last of the imp mess, shall we say, it's a technical term. I noted a kind of like group of 2 dancing lights, kind of hanging over the moorland itself and moving around. When I noticed them, they stopped kind of dancing in place and started actively moving around.
And of course you followed.
Yeah, well, I was a relatively new warden at the time, so I wasn't thinking about this. I was thinking maybe this is something to do with the imps, maybe there's another kind of group, maybe there's somewhere else I have to go. I was just trying to do my due diligence.
Sure.
So I started walking through the moorland.
Did they lead you to the less land?
I was going forward across the moorland. Apparently, I found a group of the mischievous ones, because as I was walking, probably been following them for about 5 minutes, I was getting closer, and all of a sudden, if I wasn't using my torch to see on the ground, and I wasn't being really, really careful because I've been dealing with imps all night, I would have just basically fallen down a 30-foot drop.
Oh.
They just
not great.
dragged me to the side of, like, I don't want to say a cliff because it's not really a cliff, but it's like a hill that just had a vertical drop along the moorland, and I hadn't seen it coming, so very lucky I managed to stop. At this point, I was completely focused in and thinking, I need to catch these because this is a problem. This is definitely something going on. So I went to call back to HQ. They told me, keep monitoring, keep following. I hadn't described them well, so they didn't realise they were Will-O-The-Wisp, so I would have told, just leave them.
How can you describe a floating ball of light in a way that does not conjure the image of a Will-O-The-Wisp? That takes some serious effort.
Well, you see, the way in which you described it is how I should have described it, a floating ball of light. How I described it was, I'm dealing with imps and there's some kind of light thing disappearing off into the moorlands itself.
See, that's your problem.
Yeah, I was a young warden, for God's sakes. I was dealing with imps, with crying out loud. This was the first kind of job they sent me by myself.
Oh man, and they shouldn't have, apparently.
No, they shouldn't. Yeah, I was kind of following along, just kind of going across this kind of area.
Yeah.
Definitely had to stop a couple of times because I definitely came across some of the mythical creatures that exist along the moorlands. So if you remember, we were talking a little while ago about, the various vicious, dog-like mythical creatures that exist out there. I definitely came across one of the relatives of the Black Shuck.
Oh.
I was very lucky not to come along.
Especially when you're new,
These things were trying to get me in trouble. Really, really badly.
Looks it. That's quite an eventful day for a new warden. Or a young warden.
Yeah, they took me over to sides of, like, don't really want to call it lakes, because it's not really lakes in the moorland, but, you know, like large circles of water, which God knows what kind of creatures were hiding inside of there, but I know I heard hissing, so I was having to go around there. But I was following these things for a good hour. About 45 minutes in, I realised I'd left my car.
Oh no.
45 minutes away, but at that point, I was committed.
Of course.
And they dragged me further and further until we actually got to kind of a wood area. Nearly got run over by a bunch of Exmoor ponies. Because I disturbed them in the middle of the night, so they stampeded and nearly ran through me. Finally got to the part where they stopped moving in a clearing just ahead of me. So I started crept in, and you know what? The whole night, 100% worth it. Because I got to see something that I genuinely don't think anyone has ever really seen in their entire lives. I really wish I had a camera. But I came across not just the two I'd been following, but there must have been hundreds there.
Oh.
It was just like dancing lights. It's the kind of thing where you would be able to, I think you could probably see it from an airplane. It was just amazing to see. Just all of them. As I came to clearing, they slowly, over the course of about 30 seconds, just started disappearing, flying away.
So did they lead you to their nest or something like that?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if they have nests or anything like that, or any of these kinds of things, or if I just happened to come across two, they panicked and they brought me back to some kind of gathering, and then they kind of broke it up.
Interesting.
But either way, it was beautiful to see. Absolutely incredible.
I believe that.
Like one of the kind of memories that's stuck in my brain.
Yeah.
Right up to the moment that I suddenly realised I had absolutely no idea where I was.
Well, details.
And there was no GPS. My sat phone didn't work. My normal phone didn't work. I was just in the middle of the moorlands and no idea where I was. And I'd been walking, taking a very circuitous route for about an hour.
How hard can it be?
So, yeah. So I got tricked by them. Luckily, in the morning, I managed to just walk and for a little while until I found a road. Walked a little bit further along the road, actually got picked up by someone, found out where I was, and just kind of went from there. And basically, I just told them, oh, my car had broken down. I'd left it and I was looking for aid. I got an earful for being an idiot for leaving my car at night. But, you know, that's better than trying to basically busting the facade that we have with the CCI.
Yeah. Until
obviously they allowed us to start doing that in this podcast. But otherwise, quite an interesting creature, and one that I just wanted to talk about because it's one of those ones that we don't contain. However, we have in the past had to send wardens out to when there's been like a concentration of them. People are going missing because they go walking off somewhere. We have had to send some wardens out to just comb the area. Luckily, what that seems to do is it just makes them leave, makes them move on to somewhere else. They don't need pushing. They just need us to.
They're just annoyed enough by us.
You say annoyed, I say more kind of wary, because they are small creatures. And I assume that there's some kind of corporeal thing, because pretty much everything we come across is actual living things, not spirits, it's not ghosts, you know. It's that. So I assume we could probably hurt one if we got close enough, quick enough. But yeah, they just kind of move on. But also, I just wanted to make that PSA to let everyone know, don't follow them, because unless you are really, really stuck, it's a coin toss as to whether you're going to get good.
But apparently, even with the bad ones, if you follow them just long enough, you get the payoff of a beautiful gathering.
Yeah. Sorry. Go for it. Just follow them to the mountains. If we see you again, great.
For legal reasons, please don't follow any lights into the mountains.
But anyway, so Chris, do you know anywhere else that people should follow something to the mountains in?
Well, you see, Once upon a time, I was outside and I saw a ginormous firefly, and I followed it, and I followed it for ages and ages through hills and valleys and rivers and seas. And where I ended up was the Blink and Your Mythic Discord, populated entirely by Will-O-The-Wisp and Will.I.Am. And it's a beautiful place for you to hang out and talk about this show, about episodes we have done. God damn it, I was
for
keeping
legal
it
reasons.
together.
For legal reasons, we cannot guarantee Will.I.Am is there.
Maybe not the Will.I.Am, but it doesn't have a trademark on the name. Probably, maybe. It's just how I pronounce William, okay?
There will be a bot in there called Will.I.Am.
Yes, absolutely. And this bot will tell you to talk about episodes we have done or suggest creatures for us to talk about, because between Jack and I, we have seen a lot of things, and chances are we can tell you more about them. You can just hang around with people and exchange your stories of Will-O-The-Wisps leading you to gold and treasure, to lead each other astray, and all that kind of nonsense. And while you are doing all that, Jack, what else could they do?
Well, they could also go and listen to more episodes using your podcasting app of choice. You can find us on pretty much everything that exists out there.
Yes.
And you should just keep listening to more and more, because we've got so many episodes at this point. We've been going quite a while. And they are all evergreen, as they say. You do
So
not
green.
need to listen to them in
Super
order.
green.
You might find a few jokes here and there from previous episodes that you'll miss out on, but my suggestion is go find a creature that you want to know about, have a look, see if we've done the episode, listen to that episode, and then listen to another episode, and then listen to another episode. And if you don't find a creature that you want to talk about or you want to learn about that we have done, then that's where you go to the Discord and you shout at us. You've
Exactly.
got to keep shouting.
The
And
louder
if
you
you-
shout, the more we listen.
Exactly.
We
And
hate
if you are
conflict,
more
and
of
we
a-
cave in easily.
So easily. And if you enjoy visuals with it, then you can go and watch our episodes on our YouTube channel, where there is a little bit of a visual of our logo at the very least. But it's a
Yeah.
great way to just do things around your house. Just listen to things around
Yes.
your house when we're there.
Exactly. Listen to us, follow us, just as if we were the Will-O-The-Wisp of your life. Follow us wherever we lead you, especially
Yeah,
if
keep
it's
going.
a stray, because at the end there'll be
Keep
treasure.
going for it.
And the treasure
Yeah.
is the Irrlichter we made along the way.
I'll take that one. But also, please make sure you're rating, make sure you give
Yeah.
us 5 stars, thumbs up, follow us, etc. All of
Yeah.
that good stuff.
All the
It feeds
things.
the algorithm, and it makes us
needs to be
happier when
fed.
we see more and more people.
You don't want to know
It
what
always
happens
needs to
if
be
you
fed.
don't feed the algorithm.
It's hungrier than I am, and that's saying something.
You know the time loop from the beginning? The algorithm put me in it.
Algorithm.
It was punishment
Yeah.
for not feeding it. You don't want that.
Yeah, you didn't feed it well enough.
Yeah.
Feed it well enough.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think it's time for us to start Chris on his next loop. But
Oh, no,
so
not again.
unless there's
I thought
unless
this
there's
time I
anything
did
else to say, you didn't feed it well enough.
it. No.
So
It's
unless
the
there's
audience's
anything else
fault.
to say, blame the audience. That always goes well.
Yes.
But anyway, unless there's anything else to say, that's it. So thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.